There we go. We are ready. We are live on YouTube right now. So awesome. This is something that's brand new for me, y'all. I normally, you know me, I go live on Instagram all the time. That is my primary platform, but I am going to start doing more lives over on YouTube. And what I like about YouTube is I can you all can ask me questions. I mean, you ask me questions on Instagram, but you may purchase super chats. You have a lot more options over here, and I'm excited. I'm excited to do some more lives on YouTube. I want to do at least once a week, so I got to figure out how that's going to fit into my schedule. I want to get consistent with doing lives here on YouTube and having healthy conversations. So today we are talking all about sex. That is what we're talking about. We're going to talk about healthy sex. And what annoys me the most about our society today in 2024 is people would rather have sex with people they barely know, have sex with strangers. They'd rather watch sex. They'd rather use sex as a marketing tool, okay, than have healthy communication about sex. That's what we're not doing. Women use sex and sexuality as a marketing tool, right? A lot of women who are dressed a certain way, a lot of music stars, rappers, all of this, they love to use sex as a marketing tool. But a lot of these women are not having sex or not enjoying the sex they're having. That's my issue. So today we're going to have a healthy conversation around sex. And my latest reel that is going around is all about sexless marriages. I've talked about this before. This is something that has come to light again. And so now I'm going to talk about it again and try to get to the root of the problem. What is going on? Why are we in these marriages that don't have any sex in them? What is really going on? So, we're going to talk all about sex today and what I believe is sex positive. I do consider myself to be sex positive, but I am going to give you a description of what that looks like. Okay. And I'm going to give you a description of what is not sex positive because we got a lot of stuff going around. We're talking about a lot of different things, and people are labeling it as sex positive, and it is not. It is anything but sex positive. So I'm going to break down some myths. I'm going to break down some confusion about this today. If you have questions that you want to ask while I'm live, please do so that I can talk about it. I had a young lady who sent me a question through my, let me get my phone. She sent me a question through my Instagram. And so I will address that also in today's live. All right. But let's start off by saying this. As a Christian, as someone who is a person of faith and is Christian, I believe that the safest container in which to have sex or be sexual with another person is within marriage. That is what God has instructed us to do, is that is going to be the safest place for us to have sex and be sexual. There are a lot of different reasons to have sex. And God's number one reason is to procreate, right? That was one of his commands that he gave to Adam and Eve, is that we are to um, procreate, to populate the earth. All right. But there are lots of other reasons to have sex too, because especially today in 2024, we have birth control. We have ways in which to enjoy sex for reasons other than procreation. And some people, depending on their religion, depending on the doctrine of their religion, they don't agree with the use of birth control. I'm not going to get into that here today. I have no opinion one way or another about that. If you don't believe in that, okay, I have no opinion about that one way or the other. However, I know that it was even God's intention for sex to be used other than procreation. So God intended for a man and a woman to come together and have sex to bond them, to create a bond between them, to create a covenant between them. And so consummation is one of the ways in which the marriage is solidified. So that's why they say you consummate the marriage, okay? And in God's eyes, that when you lay down and have sex with a person, you're married to that person. You ever think about that? You are married to that person that you're laying down and having sex with. So that is how sacred, how serious sex is. I mean, there's lots of other reasons why sex is sacred. It's sacred because it's the one time that a man and a woman get to play God. A man and a woman get to come together and they create another human life. So sex is sacred, but we don't see it as such today. Number one, I think sex is being used as a marketing tool. That's the thing that I really don't like about sex and sexuality. We are using it to market music. We are using it to market movies. We are using it to market everything. We are marketing, clothing and lingerie, and we are marketing perfume, and we are marketing, you name it, and we use sex to market it. Okay, so that's the number one issue that I have with sex today, is that it's not sacred. It's not private, it's out there for the world to see. And we are using it for all the wrong reasons. And it is cheapening it. Sex is at the lowest it's ever been in history. There was a podcast that I watched not too long ago that said the average 30-year-old man has seen more nudity. He's seen more naked women's bodies by the time he's 30 than his grandfather, who turned 100, saw in his whole life. I would even lower that number to 20. By the time a man is 20 years old, he's seen more naked women than his grandfather did in 100 years of living. And what's the bad news about that? It is now no longer exciting. It is now no longer sacred. It is now no longer, it's just like every day. It's an everyday occurrence. It's not private. It's not sacred. It's not exciting. And I'm going to talk at length about the use of pornography and what that has done to our society, what that has done to our sex lives. The use of pornography has destroyed healthy sex lives between men and women in marriage. It's destroying sex. So today, I'm going to just talk a little bit about what is and is not sex positive. And of course, this is from my theory. This is from my own perspective and my theory. And you're welcome to tell me what you think. You're welcome to ask questions. Number one, what is not sex positive is pornography. Our society is trying to sell us on pornography being sex positive, and all the many things that are good about it. And, pornography is harmless. And I don't see what the big deal is. And there are people out there who want to ban pornography because it's so sex positive. But here's something you need to know about pornography. Number one, we cannot verify consent. We have no way to know that the pornography that we're watching, that the man and the woman in that movie, number one, are over the age of 18. Number two, that they are both consenting to have sex with each other. We have no way to know that. And a lot of you believe that, oh, she looks like she's enjoying it, or he looks like, you don't know. Okay. A lot of times when we think about pornography and, we see it as, okay, these are adult people. It's a job, she's a sex worker and it's a job. But here's what you are not being made aware of, that a lot of people in this industry, they have substance abuse problems. They have problems with alcohol. They have problems with drugs. And that is how they're able to do this type of work. Okay, so they are feeding an addiction. All right. And we have no way to know. Pornography supports sex trafficking. Oftentimes, the pornography that you're looking at, that you're seeing, especially if it is free on the internet. So if you're not going through a big time studio, or you're not going through a big time production company that makes pornography, if you're just watching pornography on Pornhub or one of these other sites, you know, you don't know if that person is having sex consensually. You don't know if this is revenge porn. Maybe it is pornography that, was filmed without that person's knowledge. You don't know if that person is over 18. I continue to stress that. So you're watching child pornography. You have no way to know. There is no such thing as ethical porn, because we have no way to truly verify that this pornography is in fact ethical. I think that's a misnomer. That just cannot be. And so, again, if you're a horny 18-year-old teenager, you're not thinking to yourself, I am participating in sex trafficking. I am supporting a woman being, I'm supporting a woman's addiction. I'm supporting uh, a woman being objectified. Like that's what I'm doing every time I watch pornography. And so whether you're an 18-year-old horny teenager, whether you're a 35-year-old couple that's watching pornography together, you are feeding a monster. You are supporting a system that could be abusing children, that could be, abusing grown women who are not having sex consensually. Me personally, being the person that I am, I don't want to support that. I don't want to support anything even close to that. I don't want to support the objectification of women. And even if these women are choosing to objectify themselves, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of some woman's addiction. I don't want to be a part of some woman's trauma. Can we agree that most of the women who participate in pornography have sexual abuse, have physical abuse? They have some sort of trauma in their background. And so this is the way that trauma is being played out. And you're sitting here watching it for entertainment. You're being entertained by a human being's trauma. So really think about that. But see, these are the things that most people are not thinking about. You're not thinking about that I am actually watching someone play out their trauma live and in person right here on this screen for everyone to see. Normal, healthy women and men do not have sex on camera for money. Okay, so porn is not sex positive, quite the opposite. And then we have the research on how addictive it is. So you have men and women now who start feeding themselves pornography at a very young age when their brain is developing, and they become addicted. They become addicted to pornography. And it's that quick, cheap dopamine hit over and over and over. And before long, their body craves it. Their mind is thinking of it. They're sitting in class, they're sitting at work, and the images are flashing before their eyes. So porn is not sex positive. Sex work is not sex positive. Okay? Hookups are not sex positive. Having sex with strangers that you don't know their last name, you don't know the city they were born in, you don't know their middle name, their birth date, you don't know anyone that also knows them. Having sex with strangers is not sex positive. It's dangerous. Being in a friends with benefits is not sex positive. Situationships, not sex positive. Any form of pain being inflicted on either person is not sex positive. Needing substances in which to have sex is not sex positive. Needing to be high, needing to be drunk is not sex positive. Okay. Um, feeling pressured to have sex. Okay. It's not sex positive. All right. So these are the things, that are not sex positive. All right. Um, Walking around half dressed, with everything that you have on display. That's not sex positive. That's not empowering. And I have to talk to young women specifically about this. If I can see your nipples through your clothes, if I can see the color of your areola, if I can see the crack of anything, and even the cleavage, there's some women who they'll push the envelope on the cleavage or the backside. But again, if it's so tight that you have a camel toe, that's not sex positive. There's nothing empowering about that. They call them private parts for a reason, because they're meant to be private. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what is sex positive. Maybe we don't talk about this enough. Number one, what is sex positive is sex inside of commitment and marriage. That is sex positive. So if you have a commitment, if you are married to that person, if you've taken the time to get to know that person and that person knows you, if you know all the ins and outs of them and you know all of their people and they know your people, and that, in my opinion, is sex positive. If I'm being sexually intimate with someone that I'm married to and there is love and care there, yes, I consider that to be sex positive. I consider love between the man and the woman to be sex positive. So making love to the person that I love, I consider that to be sex positive. Okay. Sex that is mutually pleasurable, I consider that to be sex positive. So sex between a man and a woman where one person is not pleased, I don't consider that to be sex positive. I consider sex that is mutually pleasurable to be positive. Okay. Feeling good about your body in those moments, not feeling shameful, not feeling, self-conscious, right? Feeling good, feeling free. I consider that to be sex positive. Making love, I consider that to be sex positive. And we've gotten away from that. We've gotten away from the idea of love making. And the reason being is because there's no love in sex anymore. That's why we don't call it that. But lovemaking is sex positive. Okay. Consensual acts of sex is sex positive. That means the two of us have come together and we have agreed upon what we like, what we don't do, what we do. I consider that to be sex positive. Whatever turns you both on. Okay. That's what I consider to be sex positive. What one person may not want to do with the other. Okay. We have to come up with something that's mutually agreeable, but it can't just be about one person. It has to be a mutually pleasurable experience. And we don't see that enough. The reel that I created was all about, again, being in a marriage where there is very little or no sex. And honestly, if I'm being honest, so we know statistically that women do not orgasm at the percentage that men do during the act of sexual intercourse. Women do not, they're at like 35, 36% of women have orgasm from sexual penetration. Men, it's probably like 99%. So sex as a whole tends to be more pleasurable for men than it is for women. That number is going to drop for a woman if she is with a man that does not love her, is not committed or married to her, is not committed to her pleasure. He is not a good man who says, I want my wife, my woman, to have just as much pleasure as me. That number is going to dwindle because it's all about him. It's not about her. And so I have a lot of women pushing back on that piece of content because, oh, there's all these reasons why, and he doesn't help out around the house, or he smells bad, his hygiene is bad, or he's not emotionally connected, he's not emotionally available. I agree with all of that. And all of those things need to be addressed. And the truth is, two hard conversations need to be had. Number one, the man needs to have a hard conversation with his wife. And number two, the wife needs to have a hard conversation back with her husband. So either way, hard conversations, truthful conversations, radically honest conversations need to happen. We're having this talk right now because 85-90% of you don't talk about sex. You do not talk about sex. You do not verbalize or in writing express yourself about your sexual needs. And that is the missing piece. But no one is talking about, no one's teaching that. No one's talking about that. That the man needs to say, hey, this is a need I have. This is important to me. This is something I miss. And then the woman in return, I need an emotional connection to do that with you. I need you to work on your hygiene. I need you to help around the house. I'm tired. I'm doing a full-time job and coming home and working a full-time job. That's it. It's two people having an honest, very hard conversation. Or you have gained weight. I'm no longer attracted to you. Or, I mean, there's a myriad of reasons. What we do is not pleasurable. I do not receive, here's another thing that's sex positive that I have on my list. Foreplay is sex positive. And that foreplay can be emotional foreplay. It could be verbal. It could be physical, which is just non-sexual affection or touch. It could be intimate. It could be erotic. But foreplay, a woman needs to address her need for foreplay. And what does that look like to her? For me, it is mental. It is mental. It is verbal. It is non-sexual affection. It is time spent. That is going to make me want to have erotic sex with you. But we don't talk about that enough. But there is a disconnect. There is a disconnect. You have a percentage of men in the world who are going without sex and they are silent. The only time I hear those men talk is underneath my post about sexless marriages. I wish I could send all of the wives to that post, to the comments, so they could see all of the comments. That's the 9 times out of 10. That's the only time a man is communicating with words about his sexless marriage. He is not having hard conversations. Can I be honest? He's not. He's crying about it to everybody else. He's coming into therapy and crying about it. He's moaning about it on social media, but he is not sitting his wife down across the dinner table, having a meal together, or at some point, babe, we need to have a conversation about something. Okay, what? Sounds serious. Yeah, it is. It's something that has really, really affected me for some time now. Okay, well, what is it? I really need us to talk about our sexual intimacy. I really need you to know how important it is to me that we continue to be sexually intimate with each other. I really need you to know how much of a need this is for me. And keep going. Keep going. I would be happy to give you a script. I have done this before. I have written scripts for many husbands on how to talk about your sexual needs. Sexual fulfillment is one of the 10 core emotional needs in Willard Harley's book, His Needs, Her Needs. And yes, gentlemen, you must talk verbally or in writing about your sexual needs, especially if you want to get them met. Then the second conversation that needs to be had from the woman, from the wife. Ladies, you need to be honest. You need to have some hard conversations. Babe, we need to sit down and talk. Okay, what's going on? It sounds serious. It is. Right now, I've noticed you've gained some weight. Right now, I've noticed your hygiene slipping. Right now, I've noticed, I'm doing everything, with regards to the kids. I'm doing all of the domestic duties. I'm working 40, 50 hours a week outside of the home. I'm exhausted. I'd love to have more help. I'd love for us to spend more time. I'd love more romance. I'd love more non-sexual affection. I'd love more talking. I'd love more mental stimulation. All of those things would help me to have a better relationship with you. And yes, I'd love for us to have a better sex life. But right now, I don't feel turned on. I don't feel turned on by you. I don't feel turned on with the state of our marriage or our life right now. That's it. That is it. That's what I instruct the husband and the wife when I am in couples therapy. Those are the two hard conversations that need to be had. Now, let me give you some caveats. Let me give you some caveats. Ladies, if you've married a man that you really ain't feeling like that you're really not turned on by from the beginning, if you married a beta provider, if you married some guy that, okay, I'm just going to settle with him and you ain't really feeling him that way, that's a whole nother conversation. I don't know why you did that, because now you are in a marriage with a man. And I tell women this very directly. If you do not want to continue to have sex with a man, you should not marry a man. That, in my opinion, is the requirement. Just like a job that says, hey, you need a master's degree. Hey, my job, you need to continue to get continuing education credits. I cannot renew my license every year without continuing education credits. And I knew that when I took the job. I knew that when I signed up to become a therapist. So guess what, ladies? I can't year after year. No, I don't want to do that. It's boring. It's time consuming and it's boring. I don't want to keep taking CEUs. I don't want to keep doing that. Nope, I'm good. I'm good. It's just I don't like what they're talking about and it's taking too much. I can't do that. I decided to become a therapist, and because I'm licensed, I have to continue to take these continuing education credits. I knew that going in. And that's why when I'm working with couples, especially in premarital, if he don't say it, I say it. Please, please maintain your sexual relationship with your husband. Maintain your sexual relationship with your wife. That is the only person, if you are in a monogamous relationship, if that's the understanding that you have with each other, okay, you with me with you, that's the only person that can meet your sexual needs. So if you don't meet them, what are they to do? So if you are stranded on a deserted island and you get in touch with, civilization, and they say, okay, we're going to send you out some supplies. We're going to send you out some things and some food and some supplies until we can rescue you. We're going to put one person in charge of it. So they drop ship it and they put one of you in charge of it. And guess what? What happens if that one person says, you know what, I'm in charge of the food, and you know what, I just won't feed you today. I won't feed you tomorrow. I won't feed you the next day. Like, I'll decide when you eat. No, it does not work that way. It does not work that way. Okay. And just as men often say, women wouldn't like it if we did not provide the things that we provide to them. If we didn't, provide financial support, if we didn't provide protection, if we didn't provide whatever, right? What if we withdrew that? And guess what? To some extent, I have encouraged men to do that. Not quit their jobs and not provide, not that to that extreme, but to just withdraw a little and say, I've talked about this. Okay, just withdraw a little. She's going to say, what's going on? I notice you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Yeah, because I'm not getting any reciprocity. I'm simply doing that to bring to your attention, I have a need. I have a need that isn't being met. And so we need to talk about it. Now, ladies, I'm going to speak to you. Unless, some of y'all ain't gonna like this, but unless you are physically ill, you are injured, you are emotionally distraught, you have some sort of mental health condition that is not managed or undiagnosed, right? There has to be some sort of, in my opinion, dire reason. If you have a hormonal issue, again, if it is undiagnosed or unmanaged, manage it. Get it diagnosed and manage it. I am menopausal and I am on bioidentical hormone. I've talked about this before. I'm happy to list the link down in the description box. That's what I'm going to do for y'all. I'm going to actually give you my link, my referral link to a company called Thrive Lab. They will set you up with bioidentical hormone if you are perimenopausal or menopausal. Changed my life. Changed my life. Got my hormones totally balanced. Everything is working like it was when I was 25. But there are solutions. And again, so if it's perimenopause, if it's menopause, if it's you are exhausted, you're not getting good sleep, you got a new baby, if it's, I'm doing everything around the house, if it's the way your man looks, the way he smells, whatever it is, I want you to try to figure it out. And the first way you do it is with a hard conversation. So, babe, I'm 50 now. I'm going through perimenopause. I'm having hot flashes. I don't sleep well at night. My anxiety is up. I'm just having these problems. I've noticed all kinds of things, vaginal dryness, all kinds of symptoms. And my libido has gone down. And, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So how can I support you? How can I help? What can we do? Maybe we should do some research on this. Maybe there's some herbs. Maybe there's some natural things that we could do. And then you do it. You do it. You figure it out. You try to maintain your sexual relationship with your husband. And remember, this is also what's sex positive. I'm not even asking that you solely focus on orgasm as the marker. Like a lot of people, especially in our modern day, okay, it's all about the orgasm. It's all about the orgasm. I'm not even asking you to do that. There may be times when you come together with your husband or wife and one of you, maybe both of you, does not orgasm. That can still be a very pleasurable time. That can still be a very close bonding time. You're still releasing hormones that are bonding you together. So I'm not even saying orgasm is the goal every single time. I would love for women to have an orgasm every single time because it's amazing. It feels amazing. It is rejuvenating. It is relaxing. It feels fantastic. So yes, I would like for you to experience it, but I also understand that is not necessarily has to be the goal all the time. Penetration does not have to be the goal. There are other ways that you can find sexual fulfillment with each other. So maybe penetration is not every single time the goal. But a lot of you are not sexual at all. You're in a relationship where you are not sexual at all with your partner. There is no kissing, there is no hugging, there is no touching, but there are lots of ways you can be sexual with your partner without going all the way. There are ways to determine a level of sexual compatibility with a person without having intercourse. And I have talked to the men about this before. And the men who don't want to listen or just want to shut down or, oh, I don't want to listen to a woman telling me about this or telling me about that. Okay, this isn't for you. But to those of you who do want to know, yeah, I'm happy to share it with you. Number one, it's all about using verbal conversation. And you want to determine based on verbal conversation with a woman, how comfortable she is talking about sex. That's going to tell you a lot. How comfortable is she talking about sex? And I'm not talking about sex in the way of, phone sex and all of that. No, I'm just talking about just sitting down and clinically talking about sex. talking about sex and sexual past and sexual experience. And you don't have to know every little detail. You don't have to know body count because, quite frankly, the truth is you have no way to verify it. I can tell you my body count is 3, and you have no way to verify it. The only thing you can verify is that I had a husband and I had 3 children by him. So it's assumed that I had sex with him. You have no way to verify those other numbers. I can tell you 3, I can tell you 33, I can tell you 333. You have no way to verify that. So don't get lost in the sauce about the body count conversation. Yes, I agree with the science. Yes, if a person's body count is higher, it is going to make them harder to bond. I agree with all of the science, but you all are going down a rabbit hole and you have no way to verify it. So you don't even have to go there, okay? But have adult conversations about sex. What's your relationship like with pornography? Have you ever masturbated? Okay. Are there things you do? Are there things you don't do? Okay. And if there is awkwardness, if there is, I don't want to talk about this or shut down okay, that's telling you something. This is someone who isn't really comfortable sexually. And that, is telling you a lot. Does the woman, when you hug her, does she melt into you? Right? Is the hug a melting hug? Does she hug you back? That will tell you a lot. Okay? There's so many ways that you can determine how sexually compatible the two of you will be. But honestly, a look, a sound, a touch, there's lots of things that intuitively your gut will tell you, yes, this is a woman who enjoys pleasure and enjoys being pleased and wants to please me. That is what you're looking for. Can she receive pleasure? Can she give pleasure? Okay. And we're not looking for her to give pleasure to everybody. This idea that female desire, if, she's got to have a burning hot desire. She's got to sleep with you within the first 3 days, or she's got to sleep with you within the first 3 dates or on the first night. No, that is not a good marker for female desire. That's a marker for a woman who's traumatized. And we've already heard Dr. Umar talk about that. And I agreed. People who are traumatized are sexually promiscuous. We've already agreed on that. So unless you want someone who has a past, a probably checkered past, or has possibly been sexually assaulted or sexually abused, that's what that's telling you. But a healthy woman is not having sex with you on the first night. And I have met some amazing men that I was like, not having sex with you. You're a very attractive man. You're definitely doing something for me. There's something, there's an energy that I feel between us, and I'm not having sex with you. I'm not having sex with you on the first night. I'm not having sex with you in the first week. I'm not having sex with you in the first month. So I can feel a way about you, but because I'm healthy, because I'm emotionally healthy, I'm not sleeping with you until I feel comfortable, until you have a feeling about me other than lust. I have a feeling about you other than lust. We have exclusivity and commitment. We are married. That's what I'm looking for. That is the safest form of sex. And you all want to believe that wearing a condom or using birth control somehow protects you. It does not protect your heart. Wearing a condom is not going to protect your heart. It's not going to protect you psychologically or protect your psyche. It's not going to protect you from a soul tie. So if you've never heard that before, now you know. So no, we need to put honor and sacredness back in sex. We need to keep private parts private. Everyone shouldn't know what the crack of my behind looks like. Everyone shouldn't see my camel toe. Everyone shouldn't see my nipples. Everyone shouldn't see most of my breasts, most of my behind. That is sacred. That is for the one man who, in my mind, has earned it. He is worthy of that because he has given me the ultimate commitment. That's who that's for. That's not for everybody. That's for my man. So every man should know where my birthmark is. Every man should know where all my tattoos are. That should be one man that should know that, a man who is worthy of knowing that, not everybody. Okay? So we have to put honor and sacredness back in sex. We have to. Sex is at an all-time low. It saddens me, some of the things I hear, especially from men. Sometimes, if I can be honest, when I'm in my comments underneath my content on Instagram, it's the comments of men that really disappoint me. It makes me very sad that this is where we are. There's no honor anymore. There's no honor anymore from men. They see most women as cheap. They see most women as, nothing. They're not worth it. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. These hoes, and calling them all kind of names, and yeah, there's no sacredness there at all. There's no divine feminine goddess sacredness at all. No honor for the womb at all. And a lot of that is because the women are giving their womb away. They're having sex with any and everybody, having babies with any and everybody, having babies by a stranger, a man you knew for 3 months. Completely unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. And wondering why you're in the situation that you're in. Completely unacceptable. So we have to bring back the sacredness of sex. We have to make it special again. Ladies, we have to protect ourselves and protect our bodies. We have to make sure that our bodies are deep down in the earth, like diamonds, like gold. It should not be out here on the surface for any and everyone to find. No, you have to go deep down into the earth to find out what my body looks like. We have to return to that. And we have to stop following these trends. A lot of you are doing what other women are doing. A lot of you are mutilating your bodies for the sake of the culture. You're mutilating your bodies. And it's not about men. It's not about men. Men don't want BBLs. Men don't want triple D breasts. Men don't want that. But you keep thinking they want that. No, they don't. I can't tell you how many content creators have gone out here and asked, if you had a choice between a BBL and a natural body, 90% of men say natural body. And for some reason, you're not hearing that. You want to go off to some other country and mutilate your body. And in 20 years, listen up, in 20 years, this is what's so sobering. There was a time when I was once 25. I was a 25-year-old young hot thing. Oh my gosh. I am 56 now. And young ladies, you're going to be 56 one day too, if God willing. God willing. If you make it to 56, and we're going to see what that BBL look like. We're going to see. We're going to see how your body looks. We're going to see how your body holds up. Okay? So just understand that you're making a choice today that in 20 years, 25 years, we don't know what the outcome will be. That's called choosing wisely. You have to choose wisely, and not for same day gratification. Not to I'm getting all this attention today. You've got to choose for the long term. You got to choose for the long-term satisfaction, not the short-term gratification. And please, ladies, you must know the difference between attention and intention. Because anybody, any old body, any brain dead, bubble-headed woman can get a man's attention. So that's what social media has showed us. Anyone can get anyone else's attention for 5 minutes or 5 seconds or whatever. It is intention. Okay. It is a man who is intentional about you, who actually wants to know you, who wants to invest in you. I've talked about this over and over. A lot of women are the toothpaste. You are being consumed by a man. He is squeezing it out and using it. And when the tube is empty, he will throw it away. When you need to be the piggy bank, a man should be putting something in. He should be investing in you. Okay? And he should be able to get a return on his investment in the ways that he does. And again, it's not about sex. Whenever I say there is no free sex, I'm not talking about money for sex. I am talking about the investment of a man's heart. I am talking about the investment of a man's time and energy and effort. There is no free sex. There are no free wives. But in 2024, I see a whole lot of women giving free sex. I see a whole lot of women being free wives, living with a man, buying a home with a man, getting a dog with a man, having a baby with a man, multiple babies with a man. And they have no legal agreement. They have no legal contract. They have no covenant. There's no spiritual covenant between them. So you better wise up. Please wise up. Because I mean, we are racing down the road to hell. That's what we're doing. It is a race to the bottom right now between men and women. Who can get us there first? Please don't participate. Please do not participate. But we must do better. We must do better. Healthy sex is a part of a normal, healthy marriage relationship. And both people play a part in that. A man has to play his part. A woman plays her part. That's what a healthy marriage is. That's what healthy relationship is. It is two people coming together and co-creating something amazing. That's why I always tell couples it's very important that the two of you come together and you co-create the relationship. And when I say the two of you, I don't mean what's going on social media or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. I don't mean what's going on with your parents or their parents or your friends or people at work. You got everybody in your business telling you what you should and shouldn't do. No, the two of you come together and you do what works for you. And if you are a Christian, if you are under God, under Christ, He's given you the blueprint. He's already given you the blueprint. That's where you begin. So there's a three-stranded cord, okay, between your wife, your husband, and God. He's already given you the blueprint. But stop looking to other people to define your relationship and your marriage. That's going to get you in trouble every time. People with their nose in your business telling you what you should and should not do. No, the two of you together. It's like lifting up a couch. If I send one person in there to lift that couch up, it's going to be incredibly difficult. But if I send two people in there and they each take it in, they can lift that couch. That is what marriage is meant to be. Okay, you come in together, you co-create it, you compromise. As I've talked about before, women and men are different. We are different sexually. I am not thinking about sex every 15 minutes like a man is. I am not looking at a man, and that's even an attractive man. I'm not looking at an attractive man in the street and visualizing myself having sex with him. Women don't tend to do that. I am not as visually turned on as men are. Quite frankly, looking at men's naked bodies grosses me out. I don't find that sexually exciting. Looking at women's naked bodies definitely excites men because men and women are different that way. Men have 30 times more testosterone coursing through their veins than women do. Women have higher estrogen than men do. So see, this all makes a huge difference. But together, We must come together and compromise. We must come together and have an understanding. This is what I need to feel sexually excited and turned on. And for me, that is mental stimulation, that is emotional stimulation, that is talking, that is non sexual affection. And for a man, he can share with me what he needs. Okay. And that's going to be different. But both of those things come together and we compromise. We compromise on frequency. We compromise on what is done in the bedroom. Like we make sure that sex is mutually pleasurable for both of us. Because I'm going to be honest with you, for the gentlemen that are watching this, if your woman is not enjoying sex, if she's not having an orgasm or just in general enjoying sex because it's loving and sweet and kind and warm and all of that, she's basically getting poked for 20 minutes. She is being poked by you for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And most of us would not sign up for that. So please make it pleasurable for your woman. Make it so that she wants to do it, that she is excited about being pleased and pleasing you back. Because if not, she's not going to want to sign up to get poked. She's got laundry. She's got to feed the kids. She's got to clean the bathroom. She's got a report due tomorrow. She got other things to do. And that's what you have to understand. You all are guaranteed 99% of the time, you're guaranteed pleasure. We are not. And especially by men that don't care about our pleasure, that don't care to know where the clitoris is and how to stimulate it, and don't care to know the other erogenous parts of our body, the erogenous zone. See, you don't care about that. But you need to make that your business. You need to make sure that your woman is actually experiencing pleasure. You need to make sure that your woman gets out of her head. So if she's got all this stuff going on in her head and all these things to think about, and she's not getting any help with this, and she's got this tomorrow, and see, you got to help with that. What can I do to put you in a more erotic space, a more intimate space? So both of you together, you come together and you figure that out. But right now, we're living in a world full of selfish people. All y'all care about is you. And then you want to be in a relationship. Well, maybe it's not a relationship. Maybe you just want companionship. Maybe you just want to connect with that person in some way or another. It's not a relationship. I don't know why I called it that. Relationships require responsibility. And most of you don't want to be responsible for anybody, but you love the benefits. You love the benefits of other people, but you don't love the responsibility of them. And ladies, please choose wisely. You know the difference. You know the difference between a man who wants to be responsible for you and a man who wants the benefits of you. Please know the difference. That's back to the toothpaste and the piggy bank analogy. You have value to add to a man, and it's beyond your vagina. It's beyond your sex. Now, do I think you need to start, maybe doing more of that? I do. Because like I said, right now, sex is being used as a marketing tool. And for a lot of women, that's how they pull men in. That's how you pull men in, right? You dress a certain way, you talk a certain way, you pull a man in with your sex. And then once you got him, not doing that no more. Not going there no more. Don't ask me. No, that's not how it works. When you have a relationship with someone, you have a responsibility to them. And that to me looks like I am responsible to meet your sexual needs. You are responsible to meet my sexual needs. So that's what we're not talking enough about, is the responsibility that comes along with being married, the responsibility that comes along with being in relationships. We got to talk about that more. Okay? But a lot of y'all don't want no relationship, if I'm being honest. You want the connection, you want the companionship, you want the fun, you want the sex, you want to go on the trip and have sex on the trip. That's what you want, the gifts. You want the fancy dinners. That's what you want. But you don't want the responsibility. And ladies, and I'm definitely speaking to the ladies, I can speak to the men too. Please avoid men that don't want the responsibility. They are using you like toothpaste. And when that tube is empty, they're going to throw it away and get another one. Okay? Be the piggy bank. I require a man to invest in me. Time, energy, and effort. And any other resources or any other thing. No, it ain't free. And guess what? In a world full of, thousands upon millions of women that are free, my phone is dry. Like, my phone is dry. Because men are like, Anita, it's too expensive. Okay. You too expensive. I can get this for free. Okay. I can get this for free. Okay. And that's a lot of women I know. A lot of great women that I know that it ain't free. It costs. Our phone is dry right now because there's a lot of men that are like, nope, I can get it somewhere else for free. And that's what I'm going to do. And look, forget the fact that it's cheap. So my stuff over here is Tiffany, right? My stuff over here is the little blue box. But what y'all getting K Jewelers. Okay. Y'all getting K Jewelers over there. But hey, if that worked for you, if that's working for you, then, do you. But that's the truth. And we have got to make sex sacred again. And you've got to detox yourself sexually. I remember having to do that with my algorithm. I went on 2 sites that were, it was 2 women that were like fitness models. So they were like fitness models, but they also had pictures of them like dressed sexy or whatever. I went on there to learn some new workout regimens. And I kid y'all not, my timeline was full of, my Explorer page was full of like half naked women. I was like, what? What happened? I went on 2 people's pages that are like fitness people, and my timeline is now full of half naked women. And then I have to start looking for puppies, looking for kittens, looking for EFT techniques, or looking for, I have to start looking for something else to get that crap out of my timeline. So I know how bad it is. Like, can I be honest? It's bad. It's really bad out here. You can't look at fitness tips without seeing half naked women. But we have to detox. You have to take breaks from social media. You have to take breaks from TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and detox yourself sexually. You got to stop listening to some of this ratchet music. Why? Why on earth did a video from Sexy Red and what's her name? The other one, Sukiana, come up in my YouTube? Why? Because I know I ain't listening to that. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at this like, this is real. This is real life. This is what we're doing now. Shame does not exist anymore. Shame is a thing of the past. Can I keep it real? This is a world I don't want to live in. I told my friend this earlier today when I was on the phone. I said, baby, I don't want to live in this world. Where can I go? What can I do? Because this is not the world that I want to live in. That I'm seeing these women, the things they're talking about, the language that they're using. And it's making it hard on all of us. And because of these women, Sexy Red and Sukiana, I cannot be respected by the average man. I got men underneath my content talking crazy because, all of y'all are like this. All of y'all. No, we're not. We're really not. And it's like men can't tell the difference. That's what they've even said in my DM. Miss Anita, I can't even tell the difference. Really? You can't? You can't tell the difference between a Sukiana and a Miss Anita? What is happening inside of your brain that you can't tell the difference? Well, I can't tell the difference. I can't tell the good ones from the bad ones. But that is how inundated we have been. That's sex is a marketing tool. It sells everything. It sells absolutely everything now. And it's crazy to the point where people are saying they can't tell the difference. between a good, wholesome, feminine woman and a sexy red and a Sukiana, okay, or Cardi B or whatever. No, there is a difference. There is a difference, gentlemen. And you got to detox your brain so you can know the difference. That's why you don't know the difference, because your timeline is full of smut and you're watching porn and you're doing that's why. But no. Let's not do that. There is a difference. And in my mind, it's really not hard to see. Okay. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, I see some comments. The Real Precious is on. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Timothy Odufua, I'm tuned in late. Am I still good to ask questions? You most definitely are. Katia, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them live. I have a young lady who sent me a question, and I'm actually going to pull out my phone. Okay, and I'm going to answer her question. I told her I would be answering her question. There we go. Okay, let me see if I can find it. There we go. She says that, she's married. Oh, and I love that. She's married, celebrated their 8-year anniversary. She says that for the most part, they have a healthy sex life. She said, I don't always want to, and I'm not always there, though I do enjoy having sex with him. I don't enjoy it as frequently as he does. Is that bad or wrong? Please feel free to answer in your upcoming YouTube video. Thank you. I'm not going to mention her name, though. No, because we've already discussed that men and women, their sexuality is different. So no, women are not as sexual as men. And that's because men have far more testosterone than we do. But here's the thing. I want you to take from it what you take from it. Yes, I want you to have pleasure while having sex, because that to me is sex positive, that sex is mutually satisfying. And I want you to find ways to feel sexier. I want you to find ways to rev up your libido. And there's lots of natural ways that you can do that. So yes, I do want you to enjoy it. But like I said, orgasm isn't necessarily the end goal. There will be times where you have sex with your husband and you enjoy his attention. You enjoy the fact that he's present. You enjoy how he's touching you. You enjoy how he's talking to you. You enjoy the closeness. That matters too, right? So if there's no orgasm, you had some quality time with your man and you really enjoyed it. So even if no orgasm comes out of it, you're like, I really enjoyed seeing my man have pleasure or having closeness. I released oxytocin. I feel closer to him. I feel bonded to him. Most definitely. Okay. So orgasm is not always the end goal, right? We don't want to make sex performative. Porn is performative. Porn is all about the look. It is not about the feelings. It's not about pleasure. In my opinion, most of it's fake. I'd say 95% of it is fake. Again, we have no way to verify if that woman had an orgasm. Her screaming and hollering and all, that don't mean nothing. And if you're a woman and you keeping it real on this live today, you faked. I have. I faked. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, so no, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay, we have faked. We women have faked, all right? Timothy, if you're still on, feel free to ask me a question. If you have any questions, if you have any comments you want to share, I'm going to be wrapping up shortly. But yes, please. We have to have more conversation around sex, especially with our partners. But a lot of us, we are diving into sexual relationships and we don't know a thing about them. We don't know a thing about their sexual past. We don't know a thing about if they've had sexually transmitted diseases. We don't know a thing about anything. We don't know about their sexual assault history. If they have any of that history, we don't know anything. We are just having sex with people. And that to me is not sex positive. There is nothing sex positive about that. And as I've stated before, many, many women, the hottest, most sexual looking women that you're like, ooh, they're oozing sex. They're not sexual. They are not having sex or they're not enjoying sex. Sex is a marketing tool. And it's one of the oldest marketing tools in history. It sells everything. And it definitely pulls a man in. It pulls a man closer, right? If nothing else, I can definitely say that women, they are great at that. They are great at using sex or sexuality and sensuality to pull men closer, to get what they need from men. But I don't encourage any woman to do that. I encourage people to connect emotionally, mentally, spiritually, like have a real connection with someone. Stop doing things to use people. Stop doing things to get over on people. And I say the same for men. I want you to come together and connect in a real way. Okay? That is really what sex is about. It's to express love and care. It's to connect deeply with another person, emotionally and otherwise. Sex is not recreational. Okay? And in the sense of for a married couple, sure, because there's going to come a time when that married couple can no longer procreate. But for all the rest of us out here, no, it's not a game. It's serious, very serious. It can have long-term consequences. Think about that. Sex can have consequences that can last a lifetime if you are not careful. So please be mindful. Please make sex sacred again. And I'm talking to the men and the women. Gentlemen, I'd like for you to start protecting your seed. I'd like for you to start protecting your sacred energy. Stop spilling your seed all over the place or putting it inside of women that you don't even know. You are taking a huge chance with your future and your legacy. Okay? And again, a condom is not the answer. Please stop saying that. I wear condoms. I'm safe. No, the safest sex is no sex or sex within marriage. Okay, that's it. You got two options, no sex or sex with your wife or your husband. But this idea that, oh, I'm on birth control, I can't get pregnant. Oh, I use condoms. So, nope. Doesn't work that way. Does not work that way. And we have an entire society to prove it. But we are living in a world right now that I don't want to live in. I don't want to live in this world where pornography is available to a 6-year-old on an iPad. That's not a world I want to live in. I don't want to live in a world where, there is child trafficking. And no, I don't want to live in that world. And that is why I have to speak out. That is why I have to create content. That is why I do what I do. So, yeah, she said sex is not recreational. Nope, it really isn't. Because it's too dangerous if it's not in the container of marriage. Sex is like napalm. Okay? Very dangerous if it is not in the safest container possible, which is marriage. Okay? It's dangerous. And I'm not saying that in a way to make people scared, but it can have long-term consequences. That's it. I got to be honest with y'all. I have to be honest with you. So if you don't have any questions, if you don't have any further comments, I want to thank everyone who showed up today to this first YouTube live through StreamYard, because I want to do this more. I need to figure out how to work it, but I want to thank you all for joining me. And I'm going to wrap up this stream because I got to go downstairs and make dinner. But thank you so much to everybody who joined. I appreciate you. I hope it was informative. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, Please put your comments down below and I will answer any questions you have. But y'all know where to find me. Instagram, that's primarily where I'm going to be. I do most of my lives over there. And you can also find me on Facebook. You can find me everywhere at Better Love Movement. And the website, everything is Better Love Movement. But thank you so much for joining me for today's live. And as always, stay open to love.